Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're listening to the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any selection using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Methodologies for analyzing multimodal texts. Analyzing multimodal texts involves methodologies that account for the interplay between various communication modes. Data collection and transcription, coding and categorization, and case studies with comparative analysis form the foundation of studying how text, visuals, and audio interact to create meaning. 1. Data collection and transcription. Data collection and transcription are foundational methodologies in analyzing multimodal texts. Due to the nature of multimodal communication, gathering and accurately transcribing visual, textual, and audio data is essential for a comprehensive analysis. 1. Data collection. Identifying sources. Determine the types of multimodal texts relevant to the study, such as videos, images, advertisements, websites, or social media posts. Ensure a representative selection of data that reflects the scope and purpose of the analysis. Recording visual and auditory data. For videos or multimedia content, record the audiovisual material using screen capture tools, video cameras, or download software. Capture still images and screenshots for static visual data. Collecting textual data. Gather text from websites, social media posts, or documents. This can be through direct copy-pasting, OCR, optical character recognition, or screenshots. Collect spoken text through audio recording or video. Contextual information. Gather contextual information about the data, such as the publication date, creator, and audience. Note the situational context of face-to-face interactions, such as the location, participants, and purpose of the communication. 2. Transcription. Multimodal transcription framework. Develop a transcription framework that includes symbols and conventions for representing different modes. Consider how to represent visual elements, e.g., position, size, color, and auditory features, e.g., intonation, pauses. Transcribing visual data. Describe images, videos, or other visual content using detailed annotations. Include relevant features like gestures, facial expressions, spatial arrangements, and visual hierarchy. Transcribing audio data. Transcribe spoken words, intonation patterns, and non-verbal sounds, e.g., laughter, sighs. Include timestamps and speaker identification to mark who is speaking and when. Textual transcription. Transcribe written text verbatim, maintaining formatting features like font, color, and size where possible. Use annotations to indicate the placement and prominence of the text in multimodal ensembles. Creating annotations. Provide detailed annotations to explain the context and meaning of various modes. Use annotations to indicate relationships between different modes, e.g., how visuals complement text. 3. Importance of data collection and transcription. Comprehensive analysis. Accurate data collection and transcription ensure that all aspects of multimodal communication are captured for analysis. Consistency and replicability. Using a consistent transcription framework allows for replicability and reliability in research. Detailed representation of multimodality. Transcribing the interplay between different modes provides insights into the layered meaning of multimodal texts. Collecting and transcribing multimodal data accurately is crucial for meaningful analysis. A well-designed approach to data collection and transcription will capture the complexity of multimodal communication, providing a strong foundation for analysis. 2. Coding and categorization. In multimodal discourse analysis, coding and categorization are essential methodologies that involve developing coding schemes to capture and analyze the interplay between different modes. These techniques enable researchers to systematically identify patterns, themes, and relationships in the data, 1. Coding and categorization process. Establish research questions. Define the research questions to guide the coding and categorization process. Determine which modes are most relevant to the analysis and how they interact in the communicative event. Develop a coding scheme. Identify relevant features and categories based on theoretical frameworks, literature reviews, or preliminary analysis. Create codes to represent visual, auditory, textual, and other multimodal elements. Define clear criteria for each code to ensure consistency in interpretation. Pilot testing. Apply the coding scheme to a small sample of data to test its applicability and refine it based on initial findings. Adjust the coding scheme to ensure it captures the nuances of different modes. Code application. Assign codes to segments of data according to the coding scheme. For visual and spatial modes, annotate images or diagrams with codes for color, layout, or spatial arrangement. For audio data, code aspects like tone, pitch, and rhythm. For textual data, use codes to capture themes, stylistic features, and references. Categorization and analysis. Group coded data into categories that align with the research questions. Analyze patterns and relationships between codes to understand how different modes interact to convey meaning. Use software tools like NVivo or Atlas to manage and visualize coding results. Iterative refinement. Revisit the coding scheme and categories as analysis progresses to refine definitions and add new codes if necessary. Continually validate coding decisions to ensure consistency and reliability. 2. Importance of coding and categorization. Systematic analysis. Coding and categorization provide a structured approach to analyzing complex multimodal data, enabling systematic identification of patterns and themes. Uncovering intermodal relationships. These methodologies reveal how different modes work together to create layered meanings and convey messages. Data management. Coding enables the organization of large data sets, making it easier to navigate and analyze complex multimodal data. By developing robust coding schemes and categorizing data effectively, researchers can delve deep into the intricate interplay of different modes in multimodal texts, revealing insights that would otherwise remain hidden. 3. Case studies and comparative analysis. Case studies and comparative analysis are methodologies used to understand variations in meaning-making across different multimodal texts. These approaches help uncover the nuances of how different modes interact in specific contexts and how the interplay between these modes varies across different situations. 1. Case studies, definition and purpose. A case study is an in-depth analysis of a single multimodal text or a small set of related texts. It aims to uncover the intricate details of meaning-making in specific contexts by analyzing how different modes interact. Steps in conducting case studies. Select cases. Choose a text or set of texts that are representative or particularly significant for the research question. Contextualize the case. Understand the background, context, and audience of the texts, including historical, cultural, and social influences. Data collection. Gather all relevant data for the case, including images, audio, videos, and any supporting documents. Detailed analysis. Use a framework to analyze the modes within the texts. This involves transcribing, coding, and interpreting the visual, auditory, and textual elements. Interpretation and reporting. Interpret how modes work together to convey meaning in the specific context of the case. Report findings with detailed descriptions and visual examples. 2. Comparative analysis, definition and purpose. Comparative analysis involves comparing multiple multimodal texts across different contexts to identify variations and similarities in meaning-making. It provides insights into how context influences the use and interaction of modes. Steps in conducting comparative analysis. Select comparative texts. Choose texts that differ in context, audience, or purpose but share a common theme or structure. Establish comparison criteria. Develop a framework for comparison, focusing on specific aspects of multimodal communication such as visual layout, linguistic style, or sound. Data collection and coding. Collect and code data from each text according to the comparison criteria. This ensures that all relevant modes are captured. Analyze differences and similarities. Compare the texts based on the coding results, identifying how the use of modes varies across different contexts. Synthesize findings. Synthesize findings to reveal broader patterns and implications about the use of multimodal communication in different contexts. 3. Importance of case studies and comparative analysis. Contextual understanding. Case studies provide a deep understanding of how modes interact in specific contexts, while comparative analysis highlights broader trends. Revealing patterns. Comparative analysis helps identify patterns in multimodal communication across contexts, revealing how different audiences or purposes affect meaning-making. Methodological rigor. These methodologies offer systematic approaches to studying complex multimodal data, ensuring detailed and nuanced insights. Case studies and comparative analysis offer complementary methodologies for analyzing multimodal texts, providing insights into both specific cases and broader patterns in communication. Conclusion. Effective analysis of multimodal texts requires detailed transcription to capture the nuances of multiple modes, coding schemes that recognize their interplay, and comparative analysis to discern patterns and variations. Together, these methodologies provide a comprehensive framework for understanding the complexities of multimodal communication. Frequently asked questions. How is data collection different for multimodal discourse analysis compared to traditional methods? Data collection for multimodal analysis involves gathering various types of data, including visual, images, videos, textual, written text, and audio, speech, sound. Unlike traditional methods focusing on text or speech, it requires tools and strategies to capture the full range of communicative modes. What are the challenges in transcribing multimodal data? Challenges include representing nonverbal elements like gestures, facial expressions, and spatial arrangements in transcription. It requires a detailed notation system to capture the nuances of how different modes interact in communication. What does a comprehensive transcription of multimodal data look like? A comprehensive transcription includes descriptions of visual elements, audio features, and spatial arrangements. It may use specialized notation to represent gestures, facial expressions, intonation, and other nonverbal cues. Why is coding and categorization important in multimodal discourse analysis? Coding and categorization help organize and interpret the complex interplay of modes in communication. By developing coding schemes, researchers can systematically analyze patterns in how different modes convey meaning. What are some key considerations when developing coding schemes for multimodal texts? Key considerations include the nature of the modes involved, the context of the communication, and the research questions. Coding schemes should capture the nuances of each mode and the ways they interact to convey meaning. How do case studies contribute to understanding multimodal communication? Case studies provide in-depth insights into specific examples of multimodal communication. They reveal how different modes work together in real-world contexts, offering detailed analysis of meaning-making in practice. What is the value of comparative analysis in multimodal discourse studies? Comparative analysis allows researchers to understand variations in multimodal communication across different contexts. By comparing texts, researchers can identify trends, cultural differences, and the influence of context on meaning-making. How can researchers ensure consistency in coding multimodal texts? Consistency can be ensured by developing clear coding guidelines, training coders thoroughly, and regularly reviewing and refining the coding process. Intercoder reliability tests can also help maintain consistency. What types of multimodal texts are commonly analyzed in case studies? Commonly analyzed texts include advertisements, political speeches, online videos, and multimedia educational materials. These texts often feature a mix of visual, auditory, and textual elements that provide rich material for analysis. What tools are available for analyzing multimodal texts? Tools include video analysis software, transcription software that supports multimodal notation, and frameworks for coding and categorizing multimodal data, such as Elan, NVivo, and Atlas, T. How can researchers handle the subjectivity in interpreting multimodal data? Researchers can handle subjectivity by being transparent about their analytical framework, using multiple coders to cross-check interpretations, and grounding their analysis in theory and context. Why is context important in the analysis of multimodal texts? Context provides insights into the social, cultural, and situational factors influencing how modes are used and interpreted. It helps explain why certain modes are chosen and how they contribute to meaning. What methodological challenges arise in coding and categorizing multimodal texts? Challenges include the complexity of accurately representing all modes, ensuring coding consistency, and developing categories that accurately capture the nuances of multimodal communication. How does comparative analysis reveal variations in meaning making? Comparative analysis reveals variations by showing how different contexts affect the choice and use of modes. It highlights how cultural norms, audience expectations, and situational factors shape multimodal communication. What ethical considerations should researchers keep in mind when collecting and analyzing multimodal data? Ethical considerations include obtaining informed consent, respecting participants' privacy, and ensuring that sensitive data is handled responsibly. Researchers should also be transparent about how the data will be used and shared.